you were saying it's kind of like treats it like a fantasy football team.
He runs this franchise like he's playing fantasy football or fantasy baseball. That's the way I've always viewed it, going back to the 66 moves that he made even during the 2021 season. I mean, he is repetitively shuffling the roster, which has its own problems. Yes, you'll find a diamond in the rough with a Lamont Wade Jr. or Mike Yastrzemski. But also, we've seen other players who you've brought in, like a Tobias Meyer the other week pitching for the Brewers, who spent 2 weeks with the Sacramento Rivercats before they shipped him off. And the constant turning of the roster, and my biggest issue is when it comes to the prospects, and how, in my opinion, it does stunt the development of these prospects. Whether we're talking about Joey Bart, whether we're talking about David Villar, whether we're talking about Marco Luciano. These are all of the Giants' top hitting prospects over the last 2-3 years. And they've been botching all of them. Whether you want to go with Farhan this offseason saying, yeah, we're going to give Marco Luciano the opportunity every day at shortstop since Brandon Crawford is leaving. That didn't happen. You gave that job to Nick Ahmed. Then once Nick Ahmed and Jorge Soler get dumped at the trade deadline, you tell us, oh, this is for an opportunity for Marco Luciano. Wrong again. You got like 6 at-bats and then you sent him back down to Sacramento. So what are you accomplishing here? When it's taken, what now, 6 years of Marco Luciano being in the franchise to figure out that he's not a shortstop? When this offseason you were telling us that he was going to be the everyday shortstop. I saw Marco Luciano 4 or 5 years ago down in San Jose booting balls with his backhand. I told you on the leadoff spot, I didn't think he was a big league shortstop. So to get to this point of his development, it tells me everything I need to know. They've botched it, and yeah, Farhan's running a fantasy roster out here.
You're hot right now, so should I just put one on? Should I toss a soft toss up there and say, do you have any thoughts on Joey Bart?
Oh, don't get me started now, Murph.
I know.
Oh,
dude.
you never run out of options. Well, you ran out of options, and you DFA'd one of your best power prospects because you were shuffling them back and forth and starting Roberto Perez on opening day in Yankee Stadium.
That's Bob Perez to you.
Yeah, shout out Bobby P.
When I heard in that rant where it was the same vein that you have on Joey Bart. Same thing. And the consistent theme on that is mismanaged roster. A guy who should be a number 2 who is a number 1.